Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim-Nakrin. So, of course, one of the top stories that we've been following are the protests happening all around the nation and right here in Georgia. I want to show you the latest out of California on the UCLA campus. So this is the scene that essentially, happened overnight. Obviously, I apologize, this is not live. Let me remove that live graphic. This is not live, this is video, but it shows the tensions rising on the campus of UCLA as officials declare the protest encampment there on that campus unlawful, and they actually issued a written statement to vacate this area. Look at that. I mean, it's quite chaotic, and this is really the concern. Overnight protesters and counter-protesters flashed on campus. You can see in the video, it kind of speaks for itself. There was kicking and punching and setting off fireworks, as you saw, throwing things, shining lasers, shining bright lights at each other. After several hours, police wearing helmets and face shields formed lines and slowly separated these groups. But a lot of concern about the breaches of peace and at times violence and destruction. But this, of course, is all related to the war between Israel and Hamas. Protesters on one side, obviously, they're calling for a ceasefire, and they want an end to the killing of Palestinians, particularly civilians. A lot of concern about particularly the Palestinian children caught in the crossfire. And on the other side, you have pro-Israel protesters who believe that essentially Israel has the right to pursue Hamas, the terrorist organization that is responsible for a deadly attack on Israeli civilians. So you have a clash of ideas as to how to combat the issue of terrorism and balance that with the casualties of war. So it's something that we're going to continue to follow. But right here in Georgia, there are also several protests happening today at some Georgia colleges. So there are going to be walkouts at Kennesaw State, also at the campus of the Savannah College of Art and Design. Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm has a closer look at some of the protests happening today right here in Georgia.
We learned late last night that the Student Government Association here at Emory University voted unanimously on this. This means that the entire student body will now vote on whether they approve of the university president's leadership. Many, as we've reported, have been upset with the way President Gregory Fenves handled last week's protests on campus that ended with 28 people arrested, most of them students and faculty members. Protests have continued since then. The school has now added more lighting, cameras, and officer patrols. Emory says police issued trespass warnings to 6 people not affiliated with the school. A convicted felon from North Carolina was arrested Sunday, found with knives and pepper spray. As it relates to the student government vote last night, within the next couple of weeks, the student body here at Emory will have a chance to vote on whether they have confidence or no confidence in their president, something faculty members in certain divisions are already doing. We spoke with one associate professor who's already cast a no confidence vote, and he tells us he supports the student protesters.
The fact that across the nation you have this violent police crackdown on peaceful student protesters, it's our responsibility as faculty members to step in and protect students when we can.
Emory's president has promised a thorough review of what happened on the day of all of those arrests. As it relates to the no confidence votes, this won't have any direct impact on what happens, but it will let the Board of Trustees know where everyone stands. At Emory University, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
And thanks so much to Rebecca for that report, obviously focusing on the no confidence vote at Emory University following the arrests of protesters on that campus just last week. Okay, I got to turn to this really a heartbreaking story of an 11-year-old boy who was shot and killed. This is in Paulding County. Here's some video from the scene that our crews captured, and it's really unthinkable. Right now authorities are searching for his killers, and he was actually gunned down in his own home, according to authorities. And here's the thing. Officials believe that his killers may be as young as him, 11 years old. Atlanta News First Don Shipman is with the First Alert breaking news tracker outside the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Here's his story.
Good morning to both of you. The GBI is now lead on this investigation. They're trying to figure out exactly what happened. The parents say that they were just sitting down for dinner when all of a sudden gunfire rang out. Take a look at their home in Paulding County. This is along Ruth Way. You can see some of the damage. Here's what we're learning from authorities. The sheriff's office says that deputies found 11-year-old Xander Watley suffering from a gunshot wound when they responded to that home Monday night. Deputies attempted emergency treatment, but Xander died in his bedroom. His parents say that their son had gotten into a dispute with other boys around his age at school. They believe those boys showed up at their home that night and started shooting from outside.
We heard gunshots, so I had told my kids to get down, and I just started calling 911. My 14-year-old, Tugga, he came in there crawling on my floor, calling 911 too, and I heard him saying that his brother had been hit.
Xander's mom didn't want to go on camera because the suspects are still on the run. In the meantime, authorities are asking if you know anything to contact them. You don't need to leave your name. We have all that contact information on our website. Outside GBI headquarters, Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
And thanks so much to Don for that report. Okay, you know, as the weather warms up here in Georgia, we know it can get very, very hot. And that's why actually officials at several local agencies are calling attention to this issue of the dangers of hot cars. It's actually National Vehicle Heat Stroke Prevention Day. As things heat up, you know, state and local agencies are really warning specifically against leaving kids and pets unattended in cars. Atlanta News First Asia Wilson is at the DeKalb County Fire Rescue Administration, where state leaders will talk about this morning.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Many state agencies and local leaders want to sound the alarm to increase awareness. They also hope that events like today will prevent another loss of a child after being left in a car, especially as we approach Georgia's hottest days very soon. Now, the Georgia Department of Early Care and Learning is making a big push to all families and caregivers across the state with a campaign called Look Again. They say nationally, 29 children died from pediatric vehicular heat stroke in 2023. This includes a 14-month-old girl from Newton County who was left in a car by her mother. Her mother was later charged with second-degree murder. In the last 2 years, NoHeatStroke.org says 62 children have died from heat stroke in cars across the country. This includes 5 cases here in Georgia. Leaders say these deaths can be prevented if we all look before leaving our cars. Experts want you to know these things before it's too late.
25% of hot car deaths happen when a child gets into a vehicle on their own and is then unable to get out. And of that 25%, 68% are little boys. And this is not surprising because little boys are geared towards liking vehicles.
Experts and state leaders will be discussing how to prevent these deaths at this press conference here at the DeKalb County Fire Safety Administration building. They will also use a car to demonstrate those dangers. All of this will take place at 11. In DeKalb County, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
And thanks to Asia for that report. So speaking of that, of, you know, this issue of safety with the heat, I mean, I see some summer-like temperatures in this forecast. Here is First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazi.
That's right, yeah, and some of the warmest temperatures that we've seen this year on the way. So definitely need to prepare for that. This is not something that you take lightly this time of year, right? We have to prepare not only when it comes to things like taking care of our skin, sunscreen really important, the sun angle very high this time of year, only getting higher and harsher. And of course, on the topic of car heat safety, try and give yourself reminders. If that's something that you feel like you need to do, make sure you're giving yourself those reminders to check the back seat, because that is definitely something that is not uncommon here in North Georgia as the temperatures start to heat up. And as you can see, we have quite a few very warm days on the way, or well, today is going to be a very warm day, so the next several hours will be quite warm. But this just one of several 80-degree days on the 7-day forecast. So when it comes to today, we'll continue to see a lot of sunshine. Honestly, it's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be warm, but it's going to be beautiful. We'll have lower humidity, so it's not going to be hot and humid. It's going to be hot and comfortable. We'll have temperatures in the upper 70s by noon. If you have any lunch plans, honestly, I would encourage you to get outside for lunch today if you could. I know sometimes around the lunch hour, you get into a little bit of a slump. Getting outside and soaking in some of that warm sunshine, I think will give you a nice little burst of energy to get through the second half of your day. Temperatures today topping out in the mid 80s, so 85 degrees for a high in Atlanta. Our suburbs topping out in the low to mid 80s, even the mountains making it into the 80s today. And again, we'll continue to see a lot of sunshine. So far, our warmest day of the year has been 86 degrees. Tomorrow, we are going to head into the upper 80s with a high of 87 degrees. Sorry about that forecast there. So as we head through, I'm not sure why my graphics are doing that, but that's okay. Let me back up to that high really quick, and we'll get you put out. We'll get you to the right page. But either way, today we do have again a warm day. We'll see lots of sunshine. Tomorrow will trend even warmer with highs in the upper 80s, giving us the warmest day so far. Now we don't have a 90-degree day on the 7-day forecast just yet, but it's only about time. May is typically when we see our first 90+ degree day, so just wait for it. It'll be here before we know it, I'm sure, and we will of course let you know when that is on the way, but right now not the case. We do have some first alert weather days on the way though for Friday and Monday, so we will talk about that as well because you need to think about your weekend plans, of course. Saturday, a big day. We have shaky knees in town, and I'm sure you're probably starting to plan your weekend, so we're going to get you all those details for you. Let me get to the right spot for you guys. I'm sorry about that. So here's a look at that weekend forecast because we do have, again, a first alert weather day for Saturday, and we have Sunday, also a chance for rain, about a 30% coverage with temperatures in the low 80s. So it'll be a warm weekend, but obviously Saturday a little bit more on the stormy side for you. After a warm day today, we will have a mild night tonight with temperatures in the low 60s. It'll be mainly clear and again mild. And then tomorrow, as mentioned, that's our warmest day so far of the year, at least that's what we have forecast, with temperatures at 87 degrees. The record for tomorrow, 90. So we'll get close to that. Again, May usually the time of year where we do have that first 90-degree day. Friday will stay warm. Mainly dry. We'll have the chance for a few passing showers, especially for the evenings. If you have any Friday night dinner plans, if you have any Friday night plans in general, just keep in mind that a chance for storms is in the forecast, so you'll probably want to keep the First Alert Weather app on you. That'll let you know if storms are on the way. It's a really great tool to have as we are heading into a more unsettled pattern Friday, all the way into Monday, really. We'll keep the chance for rain and storms. So Friday, headed home from work, the chance for showers and storms are out there, not widespread, but still around. And then notice as we head into Saturday, that's our first alert weather day. We're watching what we call a short wave. It's kind of a wave of energy that's going to move in Friday night into Saturday morning, but then we stay kind of socked into this moisture-rich and warm atmosphere that's going to allow everything to continue to bubble up through the afternoon and evening. So we don't think Saturday is going to be a washout. Obviously, you're probably looking at this model and you're saying, what do you mean? That looks like a washout to me. Well, we're a little too far out to determine that. The longer range models obviously don't give us as much of a pinpoint of where the rain and storms are going to fire up. But once we get into tomorrow, we'll get a better idea of what the shower and storm activity is looking like on Saturday. And then, of course, even more so on Friday, we'll have a better idea. But it does look like on and off showers and storms will be likely for Saturday, starting in the morning, and then the highest coverage, unfortunately, for the afternoon and evening. So just something to prepare for. And then Sunday trends drier, but we'll still have the chance for at least a few spotty afternoon storms because, believe it or not, our wind will be coming out of the south, so that's going to crank our humidity up a little bit. It'll also allow temperatures to stay in the 80s, and that will allow for those summer-like afternoon pulse storms where all that moisture starts to rise with the heat of the day, and then we go through the water cycle, right, and all those thunderstorms pop up and fire up for the afternoon, kind of wash themselves out. So that's what we'll be looking for on Sunday. No severe weather expected, which is a good thing. Now, some of these storms could carry heavy downpours. They'll be a little bit on the electric side, so definitely carry some lightning, maybe a little bit of gusty wind, but nothing to the level of like damaging wind where we're looking at severe thunderstorms right now. That's not in the forecast. When it comes to rainfall, we're looking at anywhere between about 1/2 inch to close to 2 inches of rain in some spots, some locally heavy amounts possible from the numbers you're seeing on your screen here. If you get caught under one of those heavier downpours, they could drop a 1/4 of an inch of rain within the 30 minutes to an hour that they are kind of sitting over you. So not looking at any kind of flash flooding threat is basically where I'm getting at with this. Between now, which is Wednesday all the way through Sunday, with that unsettled pattern really starting Friday. So over the span of about 3 days, this is the amount of rain we'll pick up. So we're not worried about any kind of flash flooding or anything like that. That shouldn't be an issue for us. But ponding in the roadways, sure, especially if you get caught under one of those heavier downpours. Here's a look at that First Alert 7-day forecast. So really warm, beautiful stretch of weather today and tomorrow. Personally, I love the mid-80s. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. Mild mornings in the 60s throughout the entirety of your 7-day forecast. Again, the warmest day of the year on the way tomorrow. Just kind of going back to Asia Wilson's story, start thinking about heat safety, right? If you've lived in Georgia for a while, if you lived in the Southeast period, then you know that that's a huge topic as we head into summer, and just something that you really need to keep at top of mind. Sunscreen, hydration, making sure you're checking the back seat, all those things important. Just a really good reminder as we kind of kick off what's going to be a warm stretch. We're definitely not going to cool back down anytime soon. So temperatures are only going to continue to rise as we head into the next few months. So just really important reminder. As we head into Friday, chance for evening storms, 30% coverage. Otherwise, the afternoon will be partly cloudy with highs in the low 80s. First alert weather day Saturday for rain and storms that will be widespread, mainly for the afternoon and evening, but rain and storms could start as early as Saturday morning as well. And then as we head into, which will keep temperatures in the upper 70s, by the way. And then Sunday, a drier day with highs in the low 80s, and then we rebound back into the upper 80s Tuesday with that first alert weather day wedged between on Monday, another day where it does look like we'll have a chance for widespread showers and storms. And we'll be able to get that exact timing for you a little closer to the day. But just circle Saturday and Monday on your calendar. Saturday, you want to probably start thinking about some backup indoor plans. And Monday, as you're headed back to work and school on Monday, you'll probably want to add a little bit of extra time to that commute. And we'll give you, again, the exact timing as we get a little closer to the day. All right, everyone. I hope you make it a wonderful Wednesday. Enjoy the beautiful weather, and we'll catch you here next time.